Welcome to the Unscripted Woman Podcast, the show for women who are done living by the rules and ready to reinvent their lives from the inside out. If you're ready to design your next chapter on your own damn terms, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Unscripted Woman Podcast. We're a podcast for women who are done living by the scripts written for them by others and are ready to start writing their own lives. Today, my guest is Anni Eza. Anni is a master healer and a mental health specialist. She is a shadow priestess, which we will get into more, an ego death doula, a teacher, and the founder of Seeds of Bliss. After over 10,000 healing sessions and certifications in more than 10 healing modalities, which we will also get into, she created Awakening the Seeds, which is a deep process guiding people to remember who they are beneath the fear, conditioning, and survival patterns. Her work lives in the space between life and death and light and darkness, helping others to hold both with skill. She believes true healing comes from when we stop running from the shadows and listen to it, embracing transformation, leadership, creativity, and human connection. Thank you so much for joining me, Anni.
Thank you for having me, Kelly.
Oh, of course. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Everyone that I interview, I've already talked to and chose specifically because they were very interesting, and what they did was something that isn't what you normally hear of. So tell everybody how you became where you are now. Like, what did you start from and what was your process to get here?
Okay, I don't really know where to start to describe how I got to the point where I'm at now, because the part of what I do was almost innate. I was born like that. I could always feel and see and understand things that weren't obvious to other people. And I'm not talking about having visions or stuff like that, but mostly feeling what is going to happen, how other people are feeling, so I could understand things that others didn't want me to understand. Or all these information were making them feel uncomfortable. And this was like that since forever, since I can remember myself. And it was always getting me into trouble. So I had to stop talking. But the information could not stop flowing into me. So I was processing everything internally until, as an adult, and after a few incidents, I found a way to really communicate what I see, what I feel, what I sense about other people, about life, about circumstances, incidents, in a way that is well received by others. But I have a favorite memory of mine at about 12 years old, thinking, because I was at home and we had some guests over for a dinner, for a gathering, and I was listening to them talking about how scary is the unknown. And I remember myself very clearly thinking, okay, you're afraid of the unknown, but when I talk and it becomes known, then you're afraid of what you hear. So are you afraid of the unknown or of the known? Can you please decide so that I can understand what should I do? So the whole thing, the whole story started since the day I remember myself that I became a healer almost by chance.
By
I
chance.
yeah, I
Oh my
didn't
goodness.
I didn't intend to become a healer. I I just started my own healing journey to unlock my own self, to build my self-awareness, to understand how I function, to have access to all the parts of myself, because I was feeling that there were parts of me that were not accessible. And I would do literally anything to open that door, to build that bridge, to have access to those parts of me. I tried therapy. This wasn't the right door for me. It was too slow, too mental. So I stepped into healing more than 15 years ago. And my healer back then started prompting me to get trained to become a healer because I would be an exquisite healer. And I had no idea, actually. So I went to my first healing training out of curiosity because I really love trying out new things and experimenting. I'm curious as a cat. So I went to the first healing training, and then things started falling into place by themselves.
Okay. So you were born an empath,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
empathic. Okay.
yeah, which was a torture for many years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an empath as well. I know. I know. And when you call people out because you know what they're
Yeah.
feeling as opposed to what they're verbalizing, it's not always well received. What was your first healing modality that your healer taught you?
Um, she didn't taught me my first healing
Oh,
modality,
okay.
but I went to someone that was an instructor, and it was theta healing.
Theta healing. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first healing modality.
So you got right into brainwaves.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. And where did it go from there?
actually, it's a very long journey.
Hmm.
I studied also pranic healing. I studied therapeutic dosing. I studied ancient Greek numerology. I studied human design. I studied some parts of esoteric astrology. I studied crystal healing, um, Tantra. I also teach Tantra. I also teach meditation. Um, I have to create a list and have it glued on my laptop screen because I never, I'm never able to remember everything.
That's okay.
Let alone the sequence.
Oh, yeah. No,
I
that's fine.
can't,
That's
I
fine.
can't remember the sequence. I studied to become a Dharma coach. Also, I studied mindfulness for children, couples therapy, mental health counseling. Uh, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I am probably missing some things.
That's okay. One stood out to me, the dosing therapy
Yeah, therapeutic dosing. Yeah.
with plant medicine.
No,
Oh,
it's with pendulums, very specific pendulums that are
oh, okay.
designed to um, create and project specific frequencies
Oh, okay.
that restore balance in the body, in the chakras,
Hmm.
in the meridians.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I haven't heard of that. I mean, obviously, I know pendulums well and how you use them in relation to the chakras, but I haven't heard it called dosing before, therapeutic dosing.
Yeah, they are different pendulums.
Oh,
You have
okay.
to set them before you use them in order
Ah,
to be able to produce the specific frequency you need for each issue that is present.
right, right. Very interesting. Hmm. Okay. And so when you were talking about wanting to get more into your own healing journey and facing the things that you didn't really want to face, the things that we kind of push behind us so that we don't have to deal with them. Is that your first experience with shadow work?
Actually, my first experience with shadow work was death.
Oh, okay.
Um, my whole life is like a movie.
Yeah,
It
sounds
could
like it.
become a movie. Yeah, it's very spectacular and very nice to share like a story, but it's often very hard to navigate when
Hmm.
you're in the situation. So yeah, it was death actually.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. Okay. Um, I always had a very weird relationship with death. I couldn't understand what was happening in my body because I was reacting in a very strange way. Like I couldn't cry. I internalized everything and I was getting sick
Mm.
until the funeral. After the funeral, I was alive and kicking again. But until the end of the funeral, I had even fever
Oh, wow.
and very weird symptoms in my body because I couldn't cry. So I couldn't let it out. And after a few deaths in the family, I understood that what is very shocking in death, for me and for many people as well, is that we cannot recognize the person in the coffin
Hmm.
because it's an empty shell. And that landed deeply in my body. So this unlocked a new level of understanding for me for death and life. And this is how I stepped into the shadows.
Mm. So, what did you need to unlock in order to be able to process death without it making you ill?
Hmm, Actually, the understanding,
Okay.
which was not mental, I had to experience this same situation over and over again until it emerged, the realization emerged from my body. It wasn't something I knew. We usually function downwards, like I learn something in my mind and then I try to implement. This is our educational system. This is how we know and process things, how we learn new things, which is not the perfect way, as I understood with my experience. But this experience was actually this realization, this knowing emerged from the body upwards. So I had the same experience again and again until I felt things moving in my body because I couldn't cry. I couldn't process the whole thing that I was experiencing. And then one day, everything moved up and crafted the puzzle, like the pieces came together in
Mm.
my mind. And it was an emergence, an emergent realization that, okay, this is the shock, this is the denial. Because the moment we stir this face, which is empty, we understand the lie.
Mm.
It's a moment of discernment, the truth and the lie. We spend our lives so captivated in the form, in the image, in the material world, and that moment of death is shattering all the lie
Hmm.
that we were imprisoned in. So we understand that form, matter, is nothing without essence.
Very
And this
true.
is shocking.
Hmm. Wow. So, when you work with your clients and you are doing shadow work with them, assisting them on their journeys, what does that look like? Because not obviously everyone's going to have a different way of processing, a different reason for denying or avoiding. So what does that look like?
It doesn't look the same for every person,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly and mainly the core of shadow work is to bring forward all the parts of ourselves that we hate, we reject, we don't like, because this is where our wisdom resides. When we deny our shadows, we deprive ourselves of at least 50% of our potential.
Mm-hmm.
Because light is easy. Light is what we already know, what we can already understand. It's our comfort zone. Light is the comfort zone. But shadow is the unknown. It's the next grade in your existential school.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to learn new things, you have to step into the dark side of your existence, which is so neglected, but also so magical. I like to picture it as night sky in the summer, full of stars.
Mm. It's a nice imagery.
All those, yeah, all those stars, all those tiny particles of light. This is what we can reclaim when we step into our shadows.
Mm. So can you, for people that aren't familiar with shadow work and such, can you give an example of maybe, while keeping full confidentiality,
Mm-hmm.
a client's experience? What was it that they needed to clear? What shadows and how did that work? What methodologies did you assist them with?
Okay, the methodology is not like a rigid structure
Mm-hmm.
because every person is different. So I really love flexibility in order to honor each person's makeup, unique makeup. So I will give them the easiest example to understand and digest. We have, most of us have very strong mental body, the mind, and we tend to control everything with the mind. We want answers from the mind. But this is not the perfect tool for everything. And sometimes using the mind for, um, let's say, understanding emotions, for instance, it's like trying to iron our clothes with a screwdriver. Makes no sense. It will not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So most people struggle with their mental body, with their mind very much. And part of the shadow work is to bring forward the emotions, the feelings, the body, the nervous system, and everything that is flowing over there, and accept all those parts so that they can work together. So the first, if I may say, part of the shadow work is to understand that we do not have just our IQ. Our intelligence is not residing only in our minds, but we have different kinds of intelligence in our body, in our nervous system, in our feelings, in our DNA, and stop neglecting them, bringing them together so that we can create council, a team that is working cohesively in our favor.
Okay. Just visualizing. Sorry, I'm looking off to the side, visualizing. As soon as you say work as a team, I'm thinking, like your guides all kind of coming together. Um, and in releasing the need to rely on the mind and anchor more into the emotional intelligence, the intuition, all of that good stuff. It then allows the individual to approach things from a more holistic perspective, as opposed to simply from a mental perspective.
Actually, holistic means that it holds more truth. In that case, the fault with our mind is that it always makes assumptions and it interprets things. It has that need to interpret things, to draw conclusions. And this is, first of all, huge loss of time. And then it's a torture, actually, because we are very slowly removing ourselves of the reality we are in, and we craft our own reality, which has nothing to do with what is going on, actually, in our environment. And this is why so many misunderstandings are happening, because you say something, I do not hear you. I'm in my head interpreting what you're saying, drawing my own conclusions. And then I am answering you super biased, in a super biased way, because I have never heard you. I am answering to what I'm thinking you've said. No real communication there.
So for the lay person, how does the listening change? Instead of listening and interpreting in your own way what's being said, trying to think of your response while they're still talking, planning how you're going to respond, how is it different using the tools that you teach?
It's very different, actually, because you're not thinking when the other person is talking. You're more present. And when you're present, you can actually listen to the other person. Because believe it or not, there's nothing that you say that is relevant to me. Like, each and every one of us is talking about themselves, their experiences, their point of view. So there's nothing that you're actually saying about me. And if I want to be able to really listen to you and understand what you're sharing with me, I have to detach myself of what you're sharing, because you're sharing your own understandings, your own conclusions, your own wisdom, your own experiences. And literally, I shouldn't have a say. I don't have a say to all of these because they are yours. I can only listen to you and understand who you really are, where you're coming from. This is why we are communicating. So this is the shift. Instead of interpreting and trying to answer or prove something to you or convince you, I listen to understand who you are and where you're coming from. And this is where connection happens. And this is a huge shift.
I'm just curious, because if the one person is going through this journey and learning how to really listen and not just interpret to respond, and to, use their intuition and their emotional connection and the energy that's being exchanged to truly understand and receive what the other person is putting out, whether they know it or not. But the other person is not doing any of that. They're still very much in the whole 3D space. How does that conversation work?
It works perfectly fine because if you're able to really listen to the other person, even if they are not aware of anything of what we're talking about right now, even if they're not trained, they're not in their own healing journey, they are being listened truly for the first time in their lives. And this is like a very special experience
Mm-hmm.
because it even alters and changes the chemistry in their brains. They feel seen, they feel accepted, they're not criticized.
Yeah.
There's no friction in the conversation, there's always communication, there's a bridge, there's acceptance, there's space, there's peace. And actually, it's a gift for them because they have never experienced something like that ever before.
Yeah. So they're being heard for the first time.
Yeah, so they step into the field
Mm.
with great relief.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody could communicate like that?
If you ask me, yeah.
That would be fantastic. So, the purpose of shadow work, other than the aid in communication and understanding, why would someone want to do shadow work? Why would they want to deal with these things? What would their ideal outcome be if someone were to say to them, "Oh, have you ever thought of this? This might really help. It might, give you what you need to allow you to take the next step forward." How do you describe the benefit that someone would get from it? Because it's a lot
Benefits
of
are,
work and it's not easy and it can be
you know
messy.
what? Yeah, and I really love this conversation here because it's very juicy and it's on my favorite topics, you know. Messy, yes, I love messy things. Um, okay, so first of all, being human is being messy. If you want to be perfect, good luck on this planet. Give it a go.
Mhm.
And please keep me posted how this project is going. I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Messiness is glorious. Messiness is the proof that we are trying.
Mhm.
And if we want to get good at something, we have to have the courage to be bad at it at first. And I have read the other day a very interesting article which was talking all about how children, in order to stand up and start walking, they try about 300 times, and adults consider themselves a failure and quit when they try up to 3 times, which is a
Mhm.
disaster actually. And it's also proof that you can do anything that you want as long as you have the courage not to quit.
Mhm.
So messiness is a prerequisite if you want to be successful. And the outcome of shadow work is wholeness, it's freedom, it's being who you are unapologetically, wholeheartedly, accepting yourself, being safe to be yourself, and provide the same safety for others around you. It is phenomenal. There is no other kind of work, inner work, that can give you this outcome. It's a profound kind of growth. Downwards, obviously, and upwards at the same time. Because imagine yourself like a tree. If you want to grow big, wide branches, you have to grow deep, thick roots. Otherwise, the slightest breeze will uproot you and throw you down to the ground. So, yeah, at first, it's not easy because you have to take a leap and you feel like you're falling from a cliff and you do not know what you will meet down there. But after this first experience, you learn to navigate your darkness and you're unshakable. Nothing can shake you anymore. Nothing can frighten you anymore because you have learned how to navigate your own shadows, your own darkness, and every answer, every tool that you need to resolve anything in your life resides in there. So you have tapped into your limitless toolbox, existential toolbox, to resolve anything in your life, to understand anything in your life. And you learn the balance also between going with the flow and surrendering and taking action when needed without being passive. So it's a huge deal to do the shadow work. And true healing, true therapy, true mental health, whatever you want to call it, you name it, is all about going deep. If you really want to go deep into yourself, do the shadow work. And find someone that is also guiding themselves through the same process. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, I started my own healing journey more than 15 years ago. And I'm still receiving healing from my healers. Otherwise, how can I guide you to places that I've never been myself?
Very
and
true.
I can help you actually. And also, what's more, especially in the healing world, I often encounter people that claim to do healing on themselves, which is the hugest red flag for me. You can't be the healer and the receiver at the same time because you cannot reach the depth that you could reach as only being the receiver. How can you go deep into yourself as a healer and a receiver at the same time, having this double role when you're in tremendous pain, when you touch a big trauma that you weren't even aware of? How do you navigate that? You're just bypassing it.
Right.
So find someone that does the work. Find someone that loves human existence so much in all its glorious messiness, and they can guide you. They can witness you going through this messiness, going through the shadows, going to the underworld and coming back.
Nice. You actually mentioned something that I did want to talk to you about: trauma. The body and the psyche store trauma in so many different ways. And I know that's something that you work with. So, for those that aren't aware, what does trauma storage look like?
Okay, it has many ways to manifest. It can be a behavior, it can be a disease, it can be an autoimmune condition, It can be an emotional pattern. For instance, I will give an example, and it's a good one because I remembered this morning. Um, I had a client once that considered himself to be homosexual, and he came for suppressed anger towards his mom. His mom was very abusive. And he also had, because of his abusive mother and because of how normal it felt to his system for women to be abusive, because he grew up in an environment where female figure was abusive, female archetype was abusive. He had a girlfriend at a very young age. I think that was 18 or 19. She drugged him and she got pregnant. So after that experience, very normally, if I may say, he decided that he doesn't like women anymore. And after 3 months in our sessions, he came one day and told me, hey, you know what? I think I'm not homosexual, because we were doing the trauma work, the shadow work, resolving all the pain because of his mom, the incident with the girlfriend who got pregnant without his own consent. And now he's married to a woman, and they also have a child. So trauma is a very sneaky thing. And because it's very well hidden and very embodied in our existence, it calls the shots. And we think that it's our own choice. He thought he has chosen to become homosexual, but it wasn't his own choice. It was because he was abused by women. So
Wow.
anything can be traumatic. For instance, when you're a baby and you're crying in the darkness and nobody comes to pick you up, it's a trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You may reproduce this abandonment cycle in your adulthood, in your relationships, in your work environment, everywhere. Even abandoning yourself, neglecting yourself and your own needs, prioritizing others. So trauma is not just a straight line or one thing. It's a spiral, and it has depth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting. And especially in our childhood, anything, a very trivial incident, could be traumatizing because we are so little.
Yeah.
And we are depending on others for our safety and our needs.
Mm-hmm.
And when these needs are not met, we get traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first trauma we all experience is when we realize that we are a separate individual from our mom. Because the baby, for the first year of its life, thinks that they are still united with their mother because they have been experiencing a symbiotic relationship with the mom for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
The first year of their life out of the womb, they think they're still united with their mother. And when they realize this is not the case, there you go, trauma.
Is that why babies make strange sometimes?
Sorry?
So it's a saying. I don't know if you have it over there. When a baby cries when it's given to a stranger, to someone it doesn't know, where I am, we
Hmm.
call it making strange. So They're fine as long as mom's holding them. But when she or a father hands the baby off to, say, a babysitter or a caregiver of some sort, the baby starts crying instantly. There's nothing wrong with him. He's fed, he's clean, he's dry. It's just that it's no longer mom or dad holding him.
Hmm. I think this is mostly because of the smell.
Yeah.
Babies have a thing with smell. So each individual smells differently.
Mm-hmm.
They know their mom's smell, the scent of the mom. So or their dad, or anyone, any adult that is taking regular care of them, but when
Mm-hmm.
a stranger comes into the picture, they smell so differently, and their nervous system is on fire
Mm.
because it's dangerous. Our nervous system only chooses the familiar things, even if
Yeah.
they are hard, even if they are sad, even if they are painful, because our nervous system, our mind, our brain, they are not designed to create happiness. They don't care for our happiness, but they do care about our survival and our safety.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So we've been talking for a while. So interesting. Um, so the work that you do, Seeds of Bliss, what exactly is it that you offer to people to assist them through their journeys?
Okay. We offer a bunch of different things in terms of services, but the core is always the same: deep work,
Mm-hmm.
deep inner work. So we have one-on-one sessions, individual sessions. We have couple sessions. We have group healing workshops, and we are having also membership, which is called Your Village. It's our new baby
Mm.
for all those people that feel they were never able to fit in the societal structure as we know it, and they're really longing to create an impact to change this world for the better. Uh, so yeah, it's all about psychoeducation. So in personalized sessions, we educate people about how they function based on their unique makeup, unique personality, character, um, experiences in life. And then in group settings, we also educate people, but not, mentally educate, experientially educate through the healing process so that the realization emerges naturally from the system. People understand in the group settings how they're functioning because of the collective consciousness they belong to, because of the society that they are living in, and they can break the patterns, they can reclaim their freedom, and they can be who they really are in a safe way. They can fully accept themselves without hiding the shadows, because it's very high maintenance, hiding
Mm-hmm.
parts of yourself and
Mm-hmm.
suppressing them. You have to always be there. Part of you is there guarding the shadow so that it doesn't get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And where can people find you? I'm going to put obviously your links in the show notes, but for those who don't feel like reading them.
Uh, they can find us in our website, seedsofbliss.life, and on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok under the handle of Seeds of Bliss.
Very nice. And you actually also gave me a link to share where they can sign up for a free class.
Yeah. It's a free healing class about guilt.
Oh, guilt. Everyone has
Yeah,
guilt.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and they also have access to a free meditation about reclaiming their inner calm. And they can find also more free meditations in the YouTube channel and also free material on our social media.
Oh, wonderful. Amazing. Well, I honestly wish we had more than just one time to do this because there's so much more to talk about. So we might have to do this again.
Gladly. I had a great time.
Yeah, yeah. And for anyone wondering, Annie's actually located in Greece. So just be aware of time changes if thinking of booking one-on-one sessions. Although, it's late at night there now while we're talking. So I think she's pretty flexible. So I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing Seeds of Bliss and everything that you do. And I'm sure so many people have learned things today. I know I have. And I've been doing this work for, well, yeah, 14 years, so almost as long as you. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. And it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. And it's been a pleasure for me too. Like time flies today.
I know, I know. Anyways, all right. If you enjoyed our conversation, please hit the notification bell, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. Anything that you do will help the algorithm. And I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.